God knows exactly what we need and at what time we need it. We just have to trust Him. We just have to let Him work in the way only He can do. Because we have all the blind spots, areas of our life that are unhealthy or toxic to our relationship with God, and we don't even realize it. But in His mercy, God steps in and removes those things for us, and He replaces them with something better. So right now, if you're going through a loss, if you're going through a season of disappointment, consider the possibility that God is answering your prayers in an unconventional way. Consider the possibility that through this loss, He is rearranging your life. Through this loss, He is strengthening you. Through this loss, He is leading you to better. God doesn't always answer our prayers the way we want, but He always gives us exactly what we need.
Do you know what I've found? I've found that life is full of surprises. In fact, my walk with God has been full of surprises. I've made plans. I've written down my goals and dreams. I expected everything to go right. I expected things to go my way. Some things did, some things didn't. And through all of my wins and losses, I have learned that we can make plans. We can write down our goals and our targets. However, here's what the Bible says. Proverbs 19, verse 21. Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. You see, God's purpose for your life is what will prevail. God's plan for your life is what will prevail. Now, it's not easy for us to accept that at times, because God's plan requires us to trust Him. It requires us to walk blindly, so to speak, in this natural world, but at the same time, walk with 20/20 vision through the eyes of faith. Jonah ran away from God's plan, and he ended up in the belly of a fish. Noah followed God's plan, and he was saved. Lot's wife deviated from God's plan, and she was turned into a pillar of salt. Joseph trusted in God and in His plans, and he became the ruler of Egypt. Samson decided not to follow God's instruction, and he lost his supernatural strength. Joshua stuck to God's plan, and the walls of Jericho came tumbling down. You see where I'm going with this? God's plan will always work out for good. But when you deviate from His plan, when you reject His plan, then you leave yourself open. You leave yourself open to the attacks of the enemy. You leave yourself open to the judgment of God.
Trusting in God's plan isn't easy to do, but it's necessary. It's essential for all of us as believers. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding." And on this topic of trust, when you think about it, we've been conditioned to trust our natural senses. We've been conditioned to trust in science. We're taught to trust things that have come from credible sources that can be verified and fact-checked. But trusting in God requires us to go against everything we've been conditioned to do. Trusting in the Lord requires you to ignore what you can see or understand. Trusting in Him means that at times you take the doctor's advice, but accept that He doesn't have the final say. I would even go as far as saying, trusting in God means ignoring what the news anchor is saying or what the economy is doing. That's trusting in the Lord with all your heart,